My name is Otieno, and I am headed to Washington, D.C. right now. It's about on an airplane. It's about 6 a.m. And I'm headed to the PERF conference in Washington, D.C. with Police Chief Joseph Yahver. This is going to be an interesting event because they're going to do a discussion on how to build unity and peace and trust within the communities. There's going to be about 60 different police chiefs and about 60 community leaders. I myself am going for the purposes of learning what goes on within these organizations, these police organizations. I am going because of this very young man right here. His name is August, and for other young men of color that are growing up in the United States, when everything started, when everything started to hit the airways, as far as young black men being killed by police officers, I was concerned mainly because of this man right here. I did not know, and I would not be able to imagine what a parent feels. And I also wanted to know exactly what's going on. And Chief in Tucson.
I've been Chief for 6.5 years in Tucson.
All right. How do you like? What's the difference between Tucson and Phoenix to you?
Tucson still has a small town feel, where Phoenix is obviously much larger and that way. Tucson is a little bit more smaller community.
Okay. What do you plan to? What do you think you will gain from this conference?
Insight into how people feel. For your sake, I hope it is. I hope it is.
So we just arrived at the hotel. We are staying at the Willard Hotel, and it was a cool flight. Didn't get a chance to talk to the chief much, but noticed that when we did land, as soon as we landed, there was some issues going on in Phoenix, so he had to get on his phone. So I got on Twitter, and as I checked on Twitter, it seemed like there's a police-involved shooting in Phoenix going on right now as we arrived in DC. So I guess it's an ongoing investigation or whatever that you told me, but we will see what's going on. Sounds like on the news it says there was a robbery suspect, so I'm praying everything plays out well. So far there's a ton of different police chiefs I haven't gotten a chance to formally meet them. We're about to go downstairs to the conference for the first night invitation. There's the chief from Tucson. He was cool, and something that his community activist said, that she's wondering if the major cities have the same issues as some of the small cities. So that will be something that I'm looking forward to finding out as well. Other than that, I'm looking forward to enjoying a great weekend here at the PERF conference.
This is the chief of police of New Orleans, and he had a great message of what he does with some of his officers. He goes to different churches he goes to his own church weekly, and then every other week he goes to another church to visit his group. So I don't know what else you want to talk about. It's about what different to keep New Orleans out of the national news.
Well, it's all about community engagement and community partnership. We bring officers out and we get officers to do what everybody else is doing. So if the community is cleaning up playgrounds, we clean up the playground. If they're cutting grass and planting trees, then that's what we do. If they're coaching the kids or giving away food, that's what we do. So it's not just about being the police. It's about putting in the same hard work that everybody else does. That's what makes people trust us and see us differently.
Definitely appreciate that. What message would you give to the young members right now who want to get involved? We're speaking on trying to bridge that gap. There's not that many young community members. They're out there marching, but how do we get them in a setting like this, or even in a setting like this back in your area or in our area, to where they can actually make an impact?
So we need to get people who have the courage to come together and talk about the hard issues. There are plenty of police officers who would love to talk about things that are important to them, and citizens who are interested in talking to police to make us know how they feel and the things that are important to them. And once we get together, have the hard conversations, we'll find that we're more alike than we are different. I think that helps bridge the gap. But we have to be courageous enough to at least come together and talk about it.
And here it is, young men saying, you know, I didn't think I could sit next to a police officer. You know, here they are sitting next to a police officer, and we're doing recruiting in the church. You know, making a positive image of it's good to be a police officer, and we support you, and it pays this much, and you can have a career. You know, and so that's what we're doing with the job fair and training with the young people, so we can have recruitment in the communities in which they live in. That's what we're wanting to do.
You know, I was really heartened. I went over to Denny Middle School in Seattle recently to meet with the student ambassadors. They speak 157 languages in that school. So I thought, okay, middle school kids, you know, they're going to have some attitude. Right? I went over there, they were so receptive. I mean, first of all, they were concerned about their safety. And some of the things that have been happening after school, they want to make sure that they were protected and all. And so I listened carefully to their stories. They were just great kids. And those are the kids we need to connect with.
So much of what a lot of us think about education and leading people is teaching people things and telling them what to do. And when I think about education, it's really the idea of drawing things out of people. That's a very different process. And then help give people the questions to ask. Help them think about what is it you need to consider as you make those changes. People don't do it. We like to tell people, especially a certain generation of people.
Now,
you got to roll with it.
One thing we haven't really talked about, and I haven't heard many people talk about, is how difficult it must be for people of color who are law enforcement. You know, I mean, nobody's really talked about it. You know, what about the Wayne Johnsons and the James Mannings and, you know, the people who have tried to make a difference from the inside out? And it has to be incredibly difficult for them.
I think young people want a career like when they used to, you know, I want to be a fireman, you know, kind of shifted, you know, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a pro football player, but still this is a career that is, you know, is noteworthy. And so we got to lift them up now, and that's what we're trying to do in the church. Lift them up. This is a good job. You know, this is a good career. You can make a difference. You know, seeing them in the high school, seeing them at the junior high school. That's all coming together, and that's what I believe when Chief O'Toole is doing. When we have our, you know, we have barbecues, community events, and they just see us all in plain clothes. You know, just laughing, joking, having a good time, and then, you know, saying this is a good career. You know, you can really make a living in this. And so
I think that's our biggest challenge. How do we get to the next generation and establish relationships? Because they're not taking their messages from the traditional civil rights leaders and others. You know, we need to figure out a way to engage in a positive way. They just need to know we care.
And I know a lot of the two marches with the Black Lives Matter march that we had, what we did, I just supported and stood back and let them lead. And then once the march was over, they were more receptive for me to give advice.
Well, you saw the video in Boston, and the Boston officer got shot, and he shot in the face, and then there was a small crowd gathering, and they're really hammering Chief Cross. And he's standing there in a full uniform, and the guy is just really demeaning him on pulpit.
But he was calling him like really nasty.
Right, but he handled it great. You know, but here he was, you know, trying to do the right thing, and, you know, trying to keep everything. And he's the second in command of the whole city, and he yelled at him. And how does he deal with it? He goes home and he thinks, and he's saying, geez, he didn't have to cover it, but he did a fantastic job.
I think it has to be incredibly difficult. I think of all the times I was on the front lines of demonstrations, and I actually was sympathetic to the people who were demonstrating, but they automatically assumed I was on the opposite side because I was, you know, a police officer. So
you're the man.
Yeah. But not really. But it's true. You know, it's people make certain assumptions. And I think, you know, I think it has to be particularly difficult for people of color.
Just like that, you know,
I'm at your house.